Okay, so I just thought of this song.
What
for the
song?
show. It's a theme song. Listen.
For our theme right now?
Yeah, go.
Kurt has kids and an SUV.
Joey scans Reddit obsessively.
We share music and a chromosome. It's a romance built to last and last. Dudes of future past. Dudes of future past. Kurt and Joey's podcast. Dudes of future past.
Welcome to the Dudes of Future Past podcast, episode 10. Hurrah!
Whoa, we made it to a decade.
A decade of episodes.
I don't know if that's appropriate, right? Is that right?
Totally
No.
appropriate. There's a whole generation
a generation
podcast.
of people. 10 years. A
Yeah.
podcast for every year.
10 years is half of my life. If we were to release this once a year, the first episode would have been released when I was 10 years old.
Oh, my God. That's it. I'm quitting the show. The show's over.
This episode is very special. We have the
Yeah.
most special guests. Sorry, other two guests.
No,
But
there
this is the
all
most
our guests
special.
are special in their own special way.
But this was special because, for me, I've never met Bert Kreischer.
Right? Bert
And
Kreischer
I've been
was
such a big fan of his my whole life. And then he was sitting across from me, and I got to talk to him.
Yeah, this is kind of very organic in a way. Like, we had talked to him about doing the podcast. He was very up about it, and he said he was going to do it. And,
Very up about it.
He was up. He was, like, all about it.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Really, really
I
supportive
don't know.
guy.
Well, let me hear your podcast first.
Yeah,
he was
we talked
do it.
about we had a coffee meeting first. We talked about like what kind of microphones we use.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, "Let's go check out your studio. It's right across the street." And then we were in the studio. He's like, "This is awesome. Let's sit down and do a podcast."
Let's
And
do
we
it
were-
right now, he
Yes,
said.
we were like, "Cancel your plans, Kurt.
Let's do
We're
it.
doing it right now."
So I canceled my Pilates for prenatal class.
Yeah, and I canceled my knitting for Nimbos class.
Oh, that's right. Nimbos and bimbos.
No, just Nimbos.
Just Nimbos?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
you-
bimbos.
the
are
bimbos
across the
quit?
hall.
Yeah.
They're at the banquet for bimbos.
Bimbo banquet. This was super fun.
This was a blast.
Bert is, as you're gonna hear in a few minutes. Bert is very entertaining and no loss for words. He's a great conversationalist.
Oh my God, I could have talked to him for hours.
Yeah, and we may again. We'd love to have him on again, and we may do his podcast. So, please
we might do a swap
enjoy.
cast.
We're gonna do a swap cast. That's in the mix. What is that, you ask?
It's
To your iTunes?
check our social media because we don't even really know.
We're
right
not
now.
sure. I'm sure it's. Is that on the Urban Dictionary?
Probably.
Swapcasting?
Yeah.
I did a
it might be
swapcast with a
something
girl
else.
in college once.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, we had to get baby
Yo,
wipes.
I broke my arm. I broke my leg. Let's do this. Let's swap casts.
Swapcasts. Oh, I
It's
get
really
what you're
sweaty in here.
It's itchy, but I can't reach it.
Bert Kreischer, episode 10, Dudes of Future Past. Hit us up, dudesoffuturepast.com. We have a website now.
We do, www.dudesoffuturepast.com. There you can hit all our links.
All of them.
Goes right to our Instagram account. You can hit our Twitter account from there. You can hit our email from there, and you can listen to all the shows. So please do that.
Yeah, dudesoffuturepast.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for reviewing and rating.
Yes, keep doing all those things. And now,
Yeah.
listen to the show
I'm
because
sorry I need to blow my nose so hard.
that's okay. Get better.
I will.
Bye, everybody.
He passed out in our front yard.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little misleading. We have a urinal, not a urinal, a porta potty in our front yard because we're in construction. So there is like a bathroom for homeless people.
Yeah.
Like it literally is like, hey guys, if you
Come on in.
If you guys are looking for somewhere to go to the bathroom, here's definitely where we'd like
Here's
you
a
to
nice
go.
warm place to shit.
And my dog Priscilla's a bull mastiff. She's 130 pounds. She's a beast.
Wow, yeah.
And he was just asleep. Like I don't know if he was asleep or he tried to get over our fence and tripped and fell. But he was. Let me tell you something, man. Heroin really takes the edge off because we have a 130-pound bull mastiff barking at him. I'm projecting at the top of my lungs, going, "Sir, you need to get the fuck out of here."
Are you weaponized at this point? Do you have anything to protect
So
yourself?
I go inside. I had a period where I kind of spun out and I bought every legal weapon there is to buy in California. So I have a couple of stun guns. I have a couple of tasers.
You have those Wolverine claws that you can hold on to.
I've got a slapjack. I've got a baton. I've got everything.
Jesus, I'm gonna go to your house.
So I grab one of my more reliable pepper spray guns and I put it behind my back. It looks like a fucking handgun.
Right.
And I walk out with it behind my back. And the second I did that, he started to respect me a little more.
Yeah, he should.
Let me tell you something. Can I tell you something?
Sure.
Be that honest with you? None of us are that far away from George Zimmerman.
Really, you think?
Not, dude. We
All
are, and I think it's a disservice the way that once the streets hit your front door, you're jacked up, bro.
Yeah.
Like, once, and then that was what was happening in his neighborhood. Was there was a lot of crime. There was clearly the way it works. This is the way crime works in the suburbs. Someone sells drugs and locks down a drug little business, and all the drug addicts flock to that area.
Yeah.
Now, these drug addicts are on the way to their dealers anyway. Why not pick up a bike and sell it and make a little extra cash? It's not violent crimes, but it is violating.
Yeah.
But,
it's annoying
worst.
crimes.
Yeah. Our neighbors, I won't say anyone's names,
right,
but our neighbors on down the street who go to our school, they have video of a guy breaking into their backyard and going through their shed. There's video of people breaking into garages, and it's happening all around our neighborhood because of this one drug dealer and all the homeless people. Not homeless people, but like the drug addicts, are there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. It's amazing the mob mentality that goes into it. Because there's one guy who's a rock star who lives on my street, and I know he's a rock star.
This is like a real rock star. This isn't like a homeless guy that you
A
just
legit
says
rock
looks like a
star.
rock
Like,
star.
or a guy who's like just balling in life. No, this is a guy who's like a musician, plays music.
I Zillowed his house. He bought it in 2002 when the band was big.
Okay.
And so
was a rock star.
So he sees me, and I said, "Hey man, how's everything been going?" And he goes, "Not good. You know what's going on?" And I go, "Yeah." And he starts telling me who the drug dealer is and what. And by the way, you just conform. Yeah, it makes sense. On paper, this all makes sense.
Yeah.
We're probably accusing an innocent kid of being the drug dealer, but because in a movie he would fit that role,
right?
And then all of a sudden you got this inner dialogue. You're doing the math in your head, and then next thing you know, there's a homeless guy in your front yard. We have a gun.
Yeah.
And there's
But you brought out your pepper spray
because I don't want to. I will shoot somebody.
Yeah.
If you pull out a gun, you better be prepared to use somebody.
That's like my whole problem.
Because if he goes after your family, there's no stop. What are you gonna do?
Dude, guy goes into our backyard, construction going on, and we see someone in our backyard. I mean, I don't know. You gotta kill them. Now, I mean that's the fucking mandate.
Because if you only maim them, then they survive to sue you.
Yep, that's the L.A. law. That's L.A.
Basically,
for you.
seriously, that's unfortunately that's the
Really?
way it is. Yeah,
Yeah. If you
so it's
shoot
either
someone,
kill or be sued.
It ultimately, and by the way, let's.
I mean, maybe his family can still sue you too. I mean, there's always that option once he's dead. But
let's break it apart a little bit. And by the way, I think what George Zimmerman did was cowardice, and it was horrible.
Right.
To track down a child who's simply walking and then confront them.
Yeah.
And
start a fight,
lose it, then shoot them.
I feel however, I knew like that being said was going to be your next.
Yeah.
That being said, I talked to a very popular black comic during the time who lives in Miami, and she told me, "You got to kill them. You don't want them to tell you their side of the story."
Yeah, and then it's a court case.
You'd much rather go to court killing the person and having your side be the only one anyone hears.
That's pretty scary. That's a pretty
Yeah.
scary
It's really
thought.
scary thoughts. But
Yeah.
then you start doing like I really start thinking to myself like we had a woman try to break into our backyard, and I literally was like, and they're on heroin, so that there's a real glaze over them. Like they're fucking fearless.
They're zombies.
Yeah.
Because they're like, what's the worst that could happen? I'm a junkie. I'm gonna die from this.
But have you tried
Life is not
like
good.
pepper spraying them or stun gunning
I've
them?
never tried to pepper spray them, but I have it in case they're not going to get violent. But I think they say the guy's selling meth too. So if someone's on meth, they may be a little violent. You definitely want to pepper spray them so that at least you have a leg up in the fight.
Yeah, meth people fucking eat your face, man.
Dude, I got a baton, pepper spray, and a stun gun with me. I will go fucking ham on this motherfucker.
You're like Batman out
yeah,
there.
I got exactly.
Yeah.
I got all the legal ones.
Yeah, this isn't the Joker though. This is just some heroin addict passed out in your backyard.
But we're all so close to being George Zimmerman. It's like one of the guys that our neighbor that goes to our school was like, "Why don't we take a walk at night? We'll just walk your dog, and we'll just make sure that like patrol the neighborhood.
Yeah,
Then you're
because like you're a scary dude.
by the way, this is what George Zimmerman did.
Yeah.
This is exactly what he was doing.
Just a neighborhood
Yeah.
watch. It was a neighborhood watch. Yeah.
And this is exactly what he was doing. And if I do this, I guarantee you, I'm going to bring some sort of self-defense with me.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I club a child in the head who just
Right.
is going from his friend's house because you're so fucking amped up.
Yeah.
And it's that one thing where everyone's so quick to point fingers and say that was a bad person. I would never do that. You don't know until you're in that situation.
No.
It's like the fucking Trump rhetoric plugs in really finely and accurately when you've had a burglary in your house.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden you're like, fuck them. Fuck Mexicans. We don't need them. They're all rapists. Get rid of America Ferrara. Like
I
it's
tell
a
you-
fucking, it's...
I'm super liberal, and I feel like we got to give everybody a shot. And we've talked about it before, like these ideas about giving you know what? Maybe people won't be as quick to get hooked on drugs or rob people if they had if they didn't have a marijuana charge on their record that they went to jail for. Now they can't get a job because they got a jail record. You know, so I started to think that way. But then you start to watch like some YouTube videos or some videos people post of like people in the ghetto like beating the crap, like 4 people beating the crap out of one guy, or like some of the shit that goes down, and then you start to go like they're savage. Like, how do we reason with these people? You can flip.
It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with socioeconomic.
No, it's socioeconomic.
It's
I didn't say any color.
You didn't say any race, but I wanted to make sure anyone listening. However, when you
That being
said, when I was a jury member, and this is a conversation I might have had on my podcast with a woman named Miss Pat. Really fascinating. You go. Just be a jury member for one day, and you will see just how unfair our judicial system is to young black men.
Oh yeah,
just how alienating it is, and how fucked up it is. Because and it's socioeconomic definitely. However, it just tends to be black men that are getting because they fit a profile, they look like one thing. I mean, I remember being in jury duty, and there was this poor Mexican kid who has tattoos all over his face. And he had a gun charge, and I was on jury duty, and they said, jury number 6, would it be possible that you would believe that the police would have planted that firearm in his car? And I was like, oh, are you serious? I go to look at him, and then the guy went, excuse me, and I said, well, I mean, look at him, he definitely has a gun.
Yeah,
and they're like, well, you're dismissed. Turns out you are racist.
Yeah.
No, well,
but no, you were talking.
Profile.
But you were talking about the tattoos on his face.
He's got tattoos on his face. I'm like, the guy's got fucking guns. Who gets tattoos on their face that doesn't have guns?
Yeah.
You made a big decision in your life to say fuck it all when you get a tattoo on your face.
Yeah.
And chances are you probably have a gun. Very seldomly. But the truth is, cops do plant guns.
They do.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, dude. I've dealt with it just for 1 week. Just this level of crime activity raised in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I'm already like fucking bowed up.
Yeah, get that fucking AK-47 strapped to your
when
back.
it becomes this piece, you own a piece of property in an area, and like if drug dealers and addicts are coming through the neighborhood and robbing the area, your property value goes down. Your family's safety is at stake.
Dude, I'm on the road. I mean, I'm fucking jacked.
You're
up.
on the road.
Can you imagine being a cop and just rolling into every situation?
Yeah.
Jacked to the gills, like fucking stand down. And then you got someone just mouthing off to you. I'm a legal alien citizen. You ever see that video?
Yeah.
I'm a free alien citizen. I know my rights. And then I would never be polite to that lady. I would have fucking body slammed her.
Yeah,
that's the hard part. It's like I'm from Oakland, and my dad is a public school. Both my parents are public school teachers in Oakland. They say that it's hard to not stereotype when when kids come to your class and they're like, my parents say that you have no authority over me, and then you can't talk to a kid that was instructed that nobody can tell him anything other than his parents, and then this kid grows up and leaves high school and goes to the real world and still has that mindset of no one has authority over me.
See, this comes back to the point of your podcast. I say this a lot on stage lately, but generationally, we grew up very different.
Yeah.
Like, I could have teachers hit me. Like, so
Yeah,
I could
that's
never say that to a teacher.
No,
Yeah.
I got hit when I was a kid in class. I got slapped across the chest by my principal in high school
That's crazy.
in front of my mom.
Right.
And like, that was the norm.
You want to hear? You want to hear the sharp juxtaposition to that?
Yeah.
My father went from teaching elementary school, being a librarian, to 1 year teaching 7th grade history at my ex-middle school, my alma mater. And these two kids had a fist fight in his classroom, like full on punching each other in his classroom. And my dad put his hands on both of their chests to separate them. Once he let go, one of the kids went back. So my dad pushed one of the kids like up against the wall and held the other kid. Because they're 7th graders. They're small. My dad's like 6 foot.
Yeah.
He's a big guy.
Super buff.
By the way, I'd love to break up a 7th grade.
Oh,
fight.
right?
Fucking
Wait.
own
But,
bitches.
but here's the end of that story. My dad was then put on 8th month paid administrative leave while the investigation was pending.
fucking dollar bills.
Yeah.
Fuck
It actually...
that. Who
It
wants
did.
to
Wow.
teach 7th grade? I'd much rather be on paid administrative leave. Dude, I would love to be a principal and break up a fucking 7th grade fight. Just grabbing them by the hair, just choking out bitches.
Oh, that'd be great.
Did you ever see that video of that principal? Like,
If there's a YouTube video we have to make, it's Bert breaking up fights between
Yeah.
7th
Dude,
graders.
That's-
put me in a fucking 7th grade riot and let me just start lighting motherfuckers up.
that's your new CISO show. Your
That's a new
CISO show
CISO
is
show.
Bert takes on 7th graders.
There used to be there is a one of the best broadcasters ever is a guy named Ron Bennington, and Ron Bennington said I'm sure this is based off of this somehow, but he was talking to his partner Fez. He was like, Fezzy, how many 10-year-olds do you think you could beat up consecutively? Like, at what point do you think they'd overtake you? And he was like, good question, Ronnie. And he was like, I think 13. And he was like, I could get to 40.
That's
And
a lot.
But at one point, you start getting winded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they got the advantage
And
on
they
you.
got
Yeah.
they got so much energy
I
too.
went to the beach the other
bounce
day
back.
with these kids. That, like, one of them's 4 and the other one's 7 or 6.
Why?
And
Wait.
just wait.
Yeah, he just.
I do fun things, man. I'm into it. It was
By
on.
the way, at 25, that's called fucking creepy.
yeah,
yeah,
at
it's
20,
weird.
that's called hanging out with kids.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I was hanging out with their father. They were just happened to be there.
Oh, that's even
But-
creepier. How
yeah.
old's their dad?
I don't know, a nice amount of age.
Yeah,
A
40
good-
something.
yeah.
40 something.
You know what I'm
No,
talking
he was
about.
really
Yeah,
nice.
I
He
know
put
he's talking
lotion
about.
on me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it was
did.
good.
Sunscreen I couldn't reach, but his kids like took it amongst themselves to try their best to punch me in the balls. They were like, "We are going to try and hit this kid in the balls as much as we can." Their dad was just like, "Haha, those are my boys," or whatever. So I was like taking on these. They bounce back. I was grabbing their arms and throwing them like 10 feet in the fucking sand. They would hit the ground, shake it off like Bane, and come running right back at me.
Yeah, that's the one. I have girls, and one of the beauties about girls, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Boys are ball punchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's integral. It's I'm friends with a lady, and we had talked for a period about doing some sort of college tour to talk to boys, because boys have been ignored entirely. Like, everyone is like feminism and where everything's going with now and transgender youth and all the disenfranchised are who we're spending all our money in programs talking to, and sadly, young boys are just left to their own devices to punch people in the balls, and then fucking grow up as animals.
Boys
and,
are getting
and
the
then,
short
and then
end
we,
of the stick.
And then we blame them, and we go, but no one's talked to them. Like, that's so much of this catcalling and sexual assault and all this could be nipped at the bud if we took all this money and just tried to educate young boys.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, stop punching people in the fucking balls at the beach. Like, that is,
Right.
but it's a boy.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's why I can't hang out with little boys. Like, I don't like being around boys.
That's why.
Because they fucking punch in the balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't defend yourself.
Do you think it's like an instinctual like thing? Like, I mean, there's. So
I
many
don't think I ever punched anyone in the balls as a kid.
Yeah?
I think it's inherently instigated by the dad. Come here, buddy.
Yeah.
And they want to wrestle.
There's a weird thing. Like, there's the looseness that over time, like it used to be, you don't hit balls because, like, hey, that's a private area. You don't touch that. And now it's like, not that it's still a private area with kids.
And now
But
kids can touch my
you
balls
just
whenever
never,
I
like,
want.
You would never know, but like now the kids know that whatever they're watching on TV or whatever, that you'll see a program, a guy gets hitting the nuts, and they know that's a point, and then that's gotten revealed over time, or it's gotten more easy to tell kids you can hit somebody in the nuts. The bad part is we haven't advanced in our education of kids. We're still afraid to talk about it.
Yeah.
We can't go, hey, listen, that's a sensitive area, and this is why. Like, we had to talk about this on the podcast before, and it always somehow ends up talking about porn. But the idea, like, we are still pent up as a society. We won't actually address the issue. We won't actually talk freely about our hang-ups or sex or whatever, gender, all that kind of stuff. We're still freaked out about it. But at the same time, there's so much stuff out there in, bizarre freak, kink porn, whatever it is.
And
There's
all
always something.
All those hormones are just funneled in to fucking punch somebody in the balls.
Right? Yeah. So kids don't get an idea. Like they're like, oh, that's where you came from. Don't fucking punch somebody in the balls. You might make a baby there.
My brother punched my dad in the balls, like surprising him coming out of airport security once when we were traveling somewhere as a kid. My dad punched my brother in the face. And it wasn't like one of those like, ooh, and then like a reaction punch in the face. My dad gave it like 2 seconds to think about what he was going to do next and then punched my brother in the face.
You got to respect that.
Yeah,
I do.
I think it's bad parenting that allows kid to punch in the balls.
Yeah,
you can't.
exactly.
It's there are certain dads, like I knew a guy who just always would just smack his kid around and call him a quarterback killer. This guy's going to be a quarterback killer.
Oh, Jesus.
And man, I'm like, there is no quicker way to drive your kid into a bathhouse
Yeah.
than fucking put this up over his head. You're going to be a quarter. And he just smack him around. And you could see it in the kid. He's like, stop fucking touching my face.
Yeah.
Like, you're hitting me. You're moving me around in place. I don't want to fucking play like that.
Yeah.
Is this a good friend or no?
I'll tell you his name after.
Okay, but so he's is one of the just like is he a aggro guy like
He's a fucking idiot.
Nah. See, that's the thing. I think with you, and I know you've known you for a while, but I mean, I think with some people look at you and they go, "Oh, he's a jock guy. Maybe he's like that kind of guy."
Yeah, but they have to see what I do.
But that's not you.
Not at all. Can I tell you what happened to me yesterday? I was at Gelson's, and I walked out, and there was this women's, I don't know what it was. It was a women's thing that they were getting
outside.
outside.
It was the sign something. Okay.
Sign stuff.
Yeah.
And there's this soft young boy.
Soft young
boy, blonde, bleach blonde hair with pink tips.
Wow. Boy.
Soft hands, real soft body. Like you just see him.
You really studied him.
Yeah.
I ended up talking to him.
Oh, okay.
And then there's this more
Harder boy.
No. It was a woman. She was like a little more like ska bandy, like a little like kind of cute. I mean, you could tell that she
lot
you
of
could
plaid,
tell
lot
you
of
could tell
checkered
you could tell
pants?
she checks Facebook with hashtags like yes all women
Yeah.
all day long.
Okay, I'm with her.
When you said ska band, that put a precise
She
image
had
in
a
my
pork
head.
pie hat on.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
gee. Wow.
pork pie hat on, and she's got like the whatever. She was. I can't say she was.
Yeah, she
looked like a lesbian, but
spells women with a Y kind of person, right?
she was intense. She was talking to another woman, and they were laughing. And I saw the guy, and I was walking out, and all I had was they do this tuna poke, spicy tuna poke.
Oh,
all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
I love it. So all I had was that in my hand, and so I was walking by, and he looked at me, and he didn't say anything, and I went, "I guess I don't look like the thing you're selling," and he goes, "No," and I went, "Well, what are you doing?" And he goes, "It's for women's rights," and I said, "I don't look like I'd be for pro women's rights," and he just goes, "No." And I go, "That's cool. I didn't know you were a bigot." And I walked off. And he went, "I'm not a bigot." And I went, "No, you totally are. You looked at me and profiled me,
Yeah.
based on your own time, based on
Right.
not based on your time, your time management.
Yeah.
You said this is a waste of my time. This guy's a fucking meathead alpha." Fucking cuck or whatever,
Yeah. Right.
whatever the fuck he thought I was.
You should have skipped away like a little dandy boy.
And I
when you left.
and I wanted to say
That would
I have
be great.
2 daughters and a wife. I have all my friends in comedy are the biggest feminists in the world. I am so pro feminism in a responsible way. I mean, not like I'm not just like this fucking this witch hunt feminism that sometimes goes on with whatever happened. But like I'm pro women's rights. And I wanted to, I just like, you're a bigot.
Yeah.
And you think you're doing the right thing, but here you are just standing out there showing racism.
Yeah.
Let me give you let's see what happens if I give you a sign up for golf lessons. Who do you talk to then?
Right.
What
exactly.
happens? Yeah. What happens if it's a basketball camp? Who are we talking to then?
Yeah.
You're the one that does it. I don't do it. I would never do
Yeah.
that.
Suddenly that big beard of yours was enticing rather than.
Yeah, it's so funny. One time I was walking out of Target, and I was with the girls, and the guy was like, sir, sign this real quick to help female adult performers stay safe in the work industry. And I was like, excuse me? And he's like, it's a thing to make sure that California has to make adult sex workers wear protection. And I went, oh, no fucking way.
Yeah.
In front of my daughters, I was like, no fucking way. And Leanne's like, why would you engage in this conversation about condoms?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know it was about
But the
condoms.
guy saw me, and he must have been like, this is his demographic.
This guy.
Yeah.
This guy likes to see condoms on
This
cocks
guy's
when he
turned
watches
off by
porn.
unprotected sex in
Dude,
porn.
if I see a condom in a porn, I'm done.
That's
Yeah.
it.
oh, I'm like, no, not like I'm done. Like,
Oh yeah.
oh, protection, oh, responsibility.
That's meant for her pleasure. That's so funny because I read an interview with a porn star. I can't remember which porn star it was, but talking about someone asked her a question about whether or not she thinks that male performers should wear a condom in porn, and she was just, the way that she looked at it wasn't like I fuck on TV for men to jerk off. Like, she looked at it like an art. I think we've talked about this.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
She looked at it like a performance art, and the condom like is like putting a condom on a bow for a violin. Like, she was like, it doesn't keep the intimacy, and that's what we let drive our scene. I'm like, you're fucking dressed like a pizza girl working at a pizza place.
Let me tell you something. If you talk to a guy who digs holes for a living, I bet he could figure out a way he's doing something for society.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
She's a whore. Okay?
Yeah.
She's a whore who needs to justify being a whore. That's the truth. Okay,
Yeah.
Look, I hate to say this, but like, porn. No one doing porn is like going, I'm in it for the art. You're in it for the fucking Corvette and the cocaine and the good times.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
There's nobody.
And I don't mean to call all porn stars whores. I know a bunch of porn stars.
Yeah.
But when you are fucking men for money, there is a fucking fine line.
Yeah.
Where you can't just justify it by, I'm providing a service. You're not providing a service.
Yeah.
No.
You're not. Like,
Yeah. You're putting your
You
body
do that
out
for
there.
money.
you're doing
Yeah.
it for fucking money. Like, you're not, there's no
Like, when you-
artistic.
When you wanted to be a comic, you're like, I like to make people laugh. There's something you get out of it. You make people laugh. It gets you high. You're like, all right, this is great. I love making people laugh. I can make a living out of this. There's never one point in your life that you go like, I made that guy ejaculate. I want to do that for a living.
Yeah.
Dude, if I could make people ejaculate doing comedy, do you know
It
how
would
much
be-
fun that would be?
That would be so great.
And you could just, like, you'd watch people, like, tap out.
Yeah.
Like, they'd come and then they'd be, like,
Right.
relaxed.
They
But you
just-
could see the other guys, like, getting turned on, like,
yeah.
doing their,
If it was
Yeah.
just like one-liner that you knew worked every single time.
Every night.
Yeah.
Dude,
Just
I-
like closer, and the whole room is like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Daniel Tosh is like, how do I follow that? You're like, make him come twice.
Yeah.
good luck.
You're like, another act will be up here in 15 minutes. For now, some smooth jazz.
That would be so awesome if you could make everyone, like, if that was the, because I used to say, like, it would be cool if I could make people's pets laugh. Like, if you could bring your pet into the show, and then I'd be like, just, oh, and your dogs, you see their tail slapping the
Yeah,
ground,
just like-
and they're like, oh,
Yeah. He gets us.
he gets us.
Bert Kreischer dog comic.
I used to want to do a bit about, I think I would like my wife's cat more if I could make it laugh. Like, if I could, because I don't like my wife's cat, but it just sits there and it just has judge face. like,
Yeah.
Oh, it
all the
does,
time.
yeah.
It's like it never is like smiles or like,
Yeah.
you know, or like if I can make it cry, you know, like if I can make a cat cry.
I like that you want to make a cat either laugh or cry and nothing in between.
You want to make just to emote at all, but I love the concept. It's just so funny because I really haven't really considered. I sit there and talk to my dogs and do all that
Yeah.
stuff and play with them, and it's it's fun to see them all excited. But then just the thing like, did they laugh?
Yeah.
What's so interesting, Patrice
haven't-
O'Neill had a joke about the reason people don't see fishing as killing as an animal is because fish don't have eyebrows.
Yeah.
He's like,
Because they can't
Yeah.
he's like, they just stare at you like, and
Yeah.
like he's like, if you caught a fish, it was like, man,
Yeah.
it would
Yeah.
just, you'd definitely be like, throw him back.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
he's
why
so cute.
I just fished for like the first time, and I'm like, I eat meat, and I was a vegetarian for a year when I was in like 8th grade, but like I can't not. Like that was the biggest
Have you
commitment.
ever been beaten up?
No. I
Oh.
never had, like, a lot of people, yeah, because that's my main question. You look at me, I'm like a skinny white dude with thick glasses, and everybody's like, yeah, how was bullying? Huh? Is that hard? And I'm like, I wasn't really bullied. I
Joey
guess,
is the bully.
yeah, I did the bullying, motherfucker. But I guess I had this, like, one story where this kid tried to push me after swimming in PE, and I pushed him back, and he, like, slipped on the water and kind of, like, tabletopped himself on the bench and then fell back into the lockers. And that story went from, like, Joey pushed a guy back to, like, Joey beat the shit out of that guy in the locker room. And so, like, nobody.
Well, it was swim class, so we know the guy was white.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, right?
Not at all, man.
He was a
No?
black dude?
I was the only white dude in my entire
Oh, he's in
school.
Oakland, yeah.
Yeah,
so-
he was actually, weirdly enough, he was an exchange student from New Zealand.
Oh.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
Was he like Maori?
He was, I don't know who that is.
That's,
is the New Zealand.
It's a New Zealand ethnicity.
No, maybe. I don't know.
What was he? Was he white?
No, he was like darker. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah, like an olive skin tone, I guess.
Really?
If I were to describe it as
Olive
detailed.
skin tone?
Yeah. Looks like he could go out in the sun without sunscreen for a while. Maybe not a day, but like 6 hours.
I like keep describing what other activities would you think he'd be good at?
Yeah. Bocce ball. I think he looks like the kind of guy that could play a good game of bocce.
Would he be good at stomping his feet and slapping his chest? Would he be good
Could
at
he
that?
inspire an offensive line?
Yeah.
Could he come off the corner quickly and get to the quarterback?
Does he look like he's prone to concussions?
I was gonna say something. It's horrible. I was like, I can't do
I
it.
know.
Would he
man.
have a tattoo that would cover one pec and then the left arm?
And just the top of the bicep and nothing else.
Does it look like his family celebrates obesity? This is the worst.
This is the worst.
Yeah.
Just profiling.
It was sad because
Maori profiling. I don't think it's happening.
when I
that
pushed him
often.
over, I was afraid his belt of teeth was gonna like stab him in the leg.
Belt of teeth.
But it didn't. No, it just
No.
it flapped in the wind.
Yeah, is his grass skirt?
It's funny because I just booked a part on I'm not sure if
Criminal? Yeah, you can say it,
Can
I
I say it?
guess.
Like criminal? I just booked a part on Criminal Minds to play this like kid that gets bullied to the point of murdering his entire bully's family.
Really?
And and like the initial audition I went out for, and I thought that the reading went great, but then I killed it at the end because they were like, "And can you lose the glasses? Can you wear contacts?" And I was like, "Yeah." But it's funny because I think like the whole reason I'm auditioning for this character is because it says nerd, and I'm like a guy with glasses in my headshot.
Yeah.
And they went, "No." And then I was like, "Well, it says nerd in bold letters." And then they just kind of looked at me like, "Why are you keep badgering this point at us?" And then I just left, and then I booked it. So
Really?
how about that? Yeah.
Well, that's
Book
what I
anything
always-
with nerd on it.
Well, congratulations, first off.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm going to be a murderer.
But I love the fact that we're in Hollywood. And it's supposed to be like it's a very liberal, open city for the most part. But what I found, it's so unbelievably just free with its discrimination and typecasting that it's like it is. I walk into a casting room and there's all I see in my area is a bunch of white guys in their 40s, young 40s who look like me, my type. And then you look over and there's a commercial for like they need a scientist and it's a bunch of Asian dudes in lab coats.
Yeah.
Like it just literally like that's like we are casting Asian people only, and then there's like the blonde cheerleader group, and then there's like the bunch of African American dudes like dads with African American kids, and you see how it splinters everybody up into these separate like groups all over.
Dude, have you ever been in a casting session where you're trying to cast people and you listen to the way that network execs and people talk?
Yeah.
Where they go, where you're like, well, what about this guy? And they're like, well, we need diversity. And you're like, he's actually black. And they're like, he's not black enough.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're like, what?
Dude, I've been in like Disney Channel casting offices, and the way that these grown adults talk about these children is like disgusting.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like this, they talk about like how pretty they're gonna probably grow up to be.
Oh yeah.
And, like,
That's freaky.
And this guy was like this little girl, the cutest, like in like a not traditional cute way, but just like had big green eyes and was teeny tiny, and she was auditioning for a role, and then one of the executives, I'm not gonna say his name, was like, "No, too weird looking. She looks like a little alien." And I was like, that opinion of yours is getting in the way of this little girl getting a job, and you're just so cool with just like, all right, she's not right. I think she's weird looking.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me.
Well, that's
Dude,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this because I think you'll connect with this. Oh, I can't sell it.
What?
I can't tell it. 'Cause I think if you look at my IMDb page, you can exactly figure out what show it is.
oh no.
I was cast for FX for The Shield long time ago.
Oh, I love the Shield story. You gotta tell the Shield story.
And
That's so fucking funny.
I was cast as a cuckold. And I was like, and they were like, I mean, I barely had to read for it. Like,
Were you not bearded at the time? You were.
I was not bearded.
The
I had-
more
log light
innocent
say,
and- yeah.
"Think Bert Kreischer." Did it say
yeah,
that?
they were like this guy. So my role was, I was dressed as a DWP guy in like overalls.
DWP, what's that?
It's
Department of Water and Power.
yeah.
Okay.
Like a utility guy. Yeah.
Got it.
And so I was supposed to be like peeking into a window, kind of like peeking into a window, watching two people have sex.
Yeah.
So, and then the cops are supposed to arrest me for peeking, and then I bring it around to the front. Big black guy answers the door, and the cops are like, "What's going on?" And the guy's like, "Dude's with her." And then the girl comes out. She's like, "He's my husband. I fuck big black dudes," and he watches. He's a cuckold.
Yeah.
And so that's what I got cast as barely reading. Now, like, I walked in the room and like, we love him.
Yeah.
And so
Again, the typecasting comes into mind. Like,
Yeah.
what went through that casting person's head? Like, I don't know how we're gonna cast this guy who likes to watch his wife get fucked by big black dudes. This
Yeah.
is gonna be really. Oh, here he is.
Yeah.
There he is.
this
Bert Kreischer.
is him.
That's
Look
the
no
guy.
further.
We need a guy who's pathetic, who's like, creepy, weird, into like watching his wife get
Soft
dominated, but
chin.
soft chin. Yeah.
And so I get the part. I was on tour. I ended up was sick this day, but I go in. We shoot the first scene is where like it's like I wish I knew more about how that was shot. I could tell you if it was a reality show these days, but it's a shot of me looking in the window. The cops pull up, they get out, they're like, sir, and I kind of get scared, I spook, and they arrest me. That's the scene we're shooting. So they go action, and so I'm looking in the window, and I slide my hand in my jumpsuit, and I start playing with my dick, and I just think it's the Shield. It should be real. They had a guy suck a dude's dick on there.
Yeah.
Like and so the woman pulls up. I don't know her name, but one of the leads pulls up, gets out of the car, and goes, "Sir!" And then she yells, "Cut!" She goes, "Cut!" Oh my God! And then looks at like Michael Chiklis and I forget the director's name.
Michael Chiklis also has his hand down his pants.
They're sitting off in like a very small video village in the front yard of this house. And she's like, he's touching himself. And they're like, excuse me? And they're like, he's touching himself. We need a new actor. And like tries to get me fired. And I'm like, by the way, I haven't done anything other than touch myself. I haven't said any words yet.
No lines, nothing.
No lines, nothing. I've just looked through a window and played with my dick.
Did she not read the script?
So I go, I'm really sorry. And then they come over and they're like, listen, we'll talk to him. They're like, get back in first position. We're going to go talk to him. And they come over. And I'm like, I'm really fucking sorry. I think I misread this part. And they're like, no. Fuck her. Do it again. And then we're like, what? We're like, we're going to hold her off. We're going to shoot some close-ups of you playing with yourself. And you touching yourself and looking in the window, and then we're gonna do the scene again, and don't touch yourself, but we're gonna use that stuff of you playing with yourself in the cut.
Okay.
But when we shoot it the second time, when she pulls up, just don't be playing with yourself and just do the scene the way it's written. And I went, okay. So like, all right, action, and they hold her at first position, and then I just start playing with myself, and I'm like playing with myself, and I'm looking in the window. And it's like a minute goes by, and I'm still playing with myself, and I'm starting to get hard, and I'm like, fuck.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they even rolling cameras
Are
now?
they waiting for you to finish?
Are they? And in my head, I'm like, I could just see them in Video Village going, let's see how long he'll play with himself.
Michael Chiklis has got like $50 on see if he completes.
And of course, as an actor, you get into the mindset of like, take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Take it to the next level. Like fuck it.
Finger up the butthole.
It builds, and I'm like, and
pulling.
And then they're like, all right, cut. And after like seriously like 2 minutes of it, they're like, cut. And I'm like, oh my God.
You're not going to use that. They're
Yeah.
like, all right. But I love that. There's probably like a whole directing thing going on where there's like a B camera. Yeah, do we have a shadow? Do you have a behind? I want to see the jumpsuit moving. Yeah, there's a good tugging angle. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, A camera. Can we get a shadow on that crotch? Can we get a shadow on that?
It's so interesting because, and then we did the scene, and it was really great. It was a really great experience. I realized from that I was like, I'm not super passionate about acting.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's just so much work.
Yeah, touching yourself by your lonesome is much easier than touching yourself while they're filming.
Oh God,
Oh,
yeah.
God, yeah.
And I had panic attack when they put cuffs on me.
Oh no, did you?
Yeah.
A legit panic attack, and they put cuffs on me, and I was like, oh fuck. Like the feeling of when you get cuffs put on you for real, that like, oh, this is real. I can't move my hands. Like it's claustrophobia.
Oh yeah.
And so whatever I did was very real in that moment when they put cuffs on me, because I didn't want them on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
And then but it was whatever.
I'm gonna have that experience for the first time. I'm like doing that. The Criminal Minds like my first dramatic thing, and I guess I'm gonna be arrested. I hope. Hope I'm not on the loose.
Yeah, the only thing I don't think it's bad to tell everybody that you booked it, but now I'm wondering how much we can say as far as your role, because
maybe.
I booked a part in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Turns out I'm a ghost the whole time.
Yeah. And then everybody's like, "Oh, thanks, Joey." Like, yeah, I don't know, like we know that you.
Well, I mean, I think that like it's Criminal Minds. You don't expect me to be like, I'm a kid.
If we
I go to a candy shop and then everything's all happy till the end of the
I
show.
get booked as a kid that gets bullied, and then magically these other people kill these people.
Yeah,
and
something happened.
You have to wait to find out. You have to get into this criminal's mind.
So what was the Disney show you did?
I did we did a show called Liv and Maddie for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like I was like the kooky brother on it.
Your girls don't watch? They weren't big fans? You don't know?
I don't know.
You don't know what they watch?
I'm not a
Yeah.
good dad.
It's
No,
cool.
you're on the road a lot, but they must watch.
I'm sure.
It's
I'm sure.
It's like it was the perfect first experience for me because like it was like I booked it coming from stand up, and then like towards the end of the series, my character started doing stand up, and so I got to write all this stand up for my character, and then that was like how we ended the show. It was great, and
Yeah.
now it's like it was a great. I don't know. I'm not. There's no joke to this.
No.
It's just I'm just loving it.
Yeah.
Just missing the past.
No, it's the thing that depresses me the most is when you work on a show for a while and then it gets canceled or it ends. Let me get
Oh, you're busy.
oh.
It's all right.
And I miss the family aspect of it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love, man, there's no better feeling than going to a set every day.
Yeah.
Every day and just fucking knowing everyone, knowing all the cameramen, knowing that they always bring out corn dogs at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
like just the fun. It's so
Corn dogs
great.
at 10 a.m.
Dude,
Yeah.
we used to
Oh,
have a show and they'd bring out corn. I think I was also the star of the show, so I think I kind of mandated.
Yeah.
I think
We
corn
need
dogs
to
Did they
was on
look?
it.
Did they look at you and just like the guy outside the Gelsons judged you? They were like, "That's the kind of guy that's gonna eat
He
corn
wants
dogs
corn
at 10
dogs
a.m."
at 10 a.m.
Dude, the little baby corn dogs.
They're so fucking
Oh
good.
my god.
Yeah.
I used to go into our craft services and be like, we got to step up our game, guys.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the funnest I've ever had on a show. It was my first TV show. I was on it for like a year and a half.
What was the first show?
The X show?
The X show. Okay.
I was on it for a year and a half, I think, and it was fun as fuck. There was beer all the time. It was like the Man Show, but for FX,
Yeah.
and it was just a fucking blast. And I thought I was a millionaire. I wasn't. I was making money, but I'd never really made money in my life, and I was like, oh, I'm a fucking millionaire. I was spending money like crazy.
Yeah.
And then my next show was a field show, and it kind of depressed me. I was like, I don't like field shows.
That was your travel show, right?
No, that was a show called Hurt Bert.
Okay.
And then I ended up doing a bunch of travel type,
Yeah.
like pilots. I did a bunch of like field pilots,
right.
and
I saw your. You know, this is funny. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but it's kind of ironic because I hosted a show. It was a field show called Games Across America.
yeah,
And I was the host. I would go around to all the weird, events all over. We go to the couch at bingo. We go to a wife carrying competition. We go to swamp buggy races. We go to the chicken wing eating contest. Shit like that, all over the country. And it was for Game Show Network, and it was kind of underplayed because it was a really fun show, but they wanted it as an interstitial. And if you don't like, it's like in between like their Saturday night lineup, we would have 3-minute blocks of me talking about the show, and like when we come back, you're gonna see me at the blah 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 contest, and then they would have me, we'd have a whole storyline. It was basically half-hour, 45-minute show cut up into like 15 3-minute bits, right?
yeah.
And it was a great show, but they never aired it as one half-hour show, and we kept trying to push it years and years. Anyway, we did 60 episodes. We traveled the country. It was great. And at the time, there's some regrets. Maybe if I didn't have a longtime girlfriend at the time, it might have been more fun. But who knows?
Sure, your wife loves to hear that.
She knows.
There's no better thing than shitting where you eat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Of fucking people you work with.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Thankfully, mostly it was funny because all the camera girls that were on the show, most of them were lesbians, and the other ones were guys. But anyway, we traveled around. We had a great time, and it was a great show. And so we were done with the show. They didn't pick it up after the 4 seasons or something. And I went to the producer's house one day. He's like, dude, we're working at this production company. And we get this submission. And this guy wants to do a show. It's kind of like Games Across America. I'm like, what is it? He goes, pops in the tape. And it's Bert Kreischer at I think it was Long Beach Scottish Festival.
The Cinderella Story.
Yeah, it was
That was
that
the name
one?
of the show, the
Cinderella
Cinderella
Story. And you were getting into the thing, and you were pitching this idea of a show, and I'm like, oh,
What
that's
production
so funny.
company was that?
Oh God, he was shit. I have to look it up. I don't know. I forgot what he was at. He's not there anymore, but it was somewhere in Hollywood, off Seward or.
Oh,
around
somewhere in
that
Hollywood. Okay.
You know what I mean?
That narrows it down.
Hollywood and Highland, like Highland and Seward. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Something like that. I forgot.
Highland and Seward are parallel, but
Not okay. Maybe around that area. Maybe in between there.
yeah.
You have the funniest laugh. Like when you just
Yeah?
go.
I know. It's so I hate it because it's
Why?
like no,
No,
'cause
it's great. It's great. Don't change yourself. I like.
I'm not
it.
trying.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to change myself just because
Yeah.
you said I couldn't care less. But
You remind me. I know who you remind me of. My friend Blair.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Which?
No, Blair Mendez. That's who you remind me of. Keep going.
Okay. So anyway, but I saw this thing, and I'm like, I think at the time, I don't think I knew you yet, but I'm like, damn, this, because I was like, at first I had the feeling like, this guy coming in trying to do the same show we already did.
Yeah.
And then I'm watching it, and I'm like, he's kind of funny and entertaining. Like, and the problem was, you got to do what you were doing. The thing you were pitching was a little different because you got involved more. Like me, I was more like, when we first started the show, I was doing the couch at bingo stuff, or I was involved, and they were like, the network said, we want Kurt just to host. We want him to be like, help be the audience's eyes, like viewing the craziness and commenting on it, but not being involved. And you were trying it.
I paid $5,000 for that pilot. I made it myself. It was based off of Chris Moneymaker.
Oh yeah,
Chris Moneymaker came into the
World Series of Poker
and won it out of nowhere. No one knew who he was, and they kept calling him the Cinderella Story. And I was like, oh, I'm a Cinderella Story. I'm super lucky. And I was like, I bet I could go into these competitions with no training, no insight, no nothing, and win them. And so I went into the Scottish Highland Games and finished second.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that pilot, I shot it. I shopped it around everywhere. No one bought it, but the people at Travel Channel saw it, and they were like, we're doing this show, Bert the Conqueror. We'd love to
hire a guy named Bert.
Yeah.
May as well.
Yeah, they're like, that's a good fit. Sorry, Ryan Dunn.
Sorry, you're out, buddy.
But they liked that pilot, but they didn't want to do that pilot, and so we ended up doing Bert the Conqueror based off that, and then Hurt Bert, and then they saw both of them, and they were like, oh, this guy will do crazy shit. He doesn't care. But it was very interactive, and sometimes I wish in my career I'd been less interactive and more of a host. I think I'd have less PTSD right now. But then now I'm going through this thing where I want to do, like, I can't, now I want to do, like, I don't know what I want to do next, but I want it to be, like, fucking epic.
Well, this is what I want to talk to you about, because I love the, I have so many things I want to, we were talking about everything, but in regards to our theme of our podcast, the future past sort of thing, you have so many, you always have a pitch. And that's what I've always admired about you. You're always kind of thinking, that would be a great show, and you don't just say it. You put it together, and you make it happen.
But let's just talk about the fact that his most recent pitch was, I want to do something epic.
I know.
Pretty vague.
That was vague.
No, I have two ideas.
But that's where I'm getting at. And because I wanted to ask you what you think of the future past of TV pitches and TV is. Because now, like, when we started out, we had... Well, at least when you were started, we had cable and TV, regular network TV. And now you got Hulu and Netflix and Amazon Prime and now YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, you could be a YouTube star. Like, kids, like all these kids who are doing shit. So how has it changed for you as far as, like, pitching all these things? And has it changed your, like, approach to it all?
It has subtly. I mean, I've been in this business so long, and not to date myself, but, like, I started when I was younger, obviously.
That's not dating yourself at all?
No, but like, I was around when they first came out with the Canon XLR ones or GL ones.
Yeah.
So once that happened, then making television pilots was so much easier because you didn't need big fucking
ENG
tape
packages.
Like news cameras.
Yeah, you could use these little tiny tapes. So when I first started this business, it was like, pitch a show, sell it in the room, do a pilot deal, do a hold, go out, shoot the pilot, come back, watch the pilot, and then order it to series.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden, this camera came out, changed the game, and then it was like, you need a sizzle.
Yeah.
You gotta have a sizzle. We don't want a pilot anymore. We want a sizzle.
Let's not leave anything to chance. You got a producer in a room who's reading it and not getting it, or it gets on some kid's desk. Now you show them.
Then it was like, oh, we need a proof of concept.
No, yeah.
We don't even need a sizzle. We need you to sit in your man cave and just say it to the camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
basically
weird,
that's all it is, right?
Like, I've done a number of proof of concepts for Travel Channel where they're like, I've done sizzles for Travel Channel. I've done proof of concept. I've done everything for them. And now it's at the place where it's like I sold a show to Comedy Central, and they're like, we'll buy it. And I went, wait, what did we just sell? And they're like, no. We're going to put it on our Snapchat. If it does well on our Snapchat, we'll order a series.
Are you
Jesus.
So like now Comedy Central
Yeah.
will order a web series. They used to order web series. Now they're ordering Snapchats. They'll order a Snapchat. They'll pay a lot of money for the Snapchat, and then if the Snapchat performs well, they'll order a series.
That's because there are like people that are releasing like characters on Snapchat, and so now you'll have like with different production companies, you'll play like a character and just do like a day in the life of like Kyle Dunnigan's Craig. He kind of does that. I don't think he gets paid for it, but he already does that, and they are now paying people to play characters on Snapchat, like production companies like Awesomeness, and I think Comedy Central's doing it.
It's and then so I took a meeting the other day, and it was like I got to a place where I was like, I'm not saying this. I'm not saying out loud I don't want to do television anymore, but like television is so fucking, it's so dated in a weird way. Like especially the type of television I do, they're like, what was your premiere number? And in my head, I'm like, I can't believe we're still talking about premiere numbers.
Right.
Like, I'm shocked that that's a
Yeah.
conversation for a show like Bert the Conqueror or Trip Flip. No one's, I don't even know when it airs technically.
Yeah.
And it's my show.
Yeah.
I don't tune in for the premieres. Like, I've got stuff I'm doing. And so then, and like, recently I got into Netflix. I think Netflix has some problems, inherent problems. They don't have the randomness. You can't just get offered a smorgasbord of entertainment the way you can with television. They're giving you a bunch of different things that are all kind of similar.
Yeah.
You know, like, and you've got to type the name in. That takes
And
fucking
you got to
forever.
find it. Yeah, you have to find it. Yeah.
But like I binge watched Stranger Things.
Yep.
I binge watched Marco Polo. I watched Russell Peters' documentary on his stand-up.
Yeah.
Russell Peters versus the World. I watched Jim Jeffries stand-up. I watched Tom Segura's stand-up. But Netflix is doing. I watched Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Wasn't for me. Turned it off. And but I'm not shitting on that project. I'm saying that I was like, oh, this is meant for other people. I get it. And I went into a meeting the other day, and I was like, and they're like, what do you want to do? I go, I just want to do something. I don't want any notes from anybody.
Yeah.
I want to just give me the money, and then let me do it, and then let me make it, and I come with a little bit of loaded backstory of like, sometimes people want to do a project with me so we can take it to Travel Channel.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I just want to make something and make it really good, and then show it to everybody and put it online. I don't care. Put it online.
Yeah.
And let's see if it gets a fan base there.
Right.
But I just want to make something really good that's just me. That's just everything I want to do. Like I'm doing a sitcom this year, shooting before the end of the year.
Okay.
And it's just same thing. I just found someone that said, no, let's just do it.
Let's just do you.
That's
Just do it.
I mean, it's all changing for the fact that like there are kids now that are more famous than all of us in this room combined because they sit in front of their computers and talk about what they're wearing to the first day of school. And there's no their parents.
Right.
Nobody is going like, you can't say this, or there's no S&P filtering.
Dude,
it out.
look at what's the girl's name that Miranda sings?
Yeah, Miranda
Yeah.
sings.
And I'll be very candid. I think the girl's very talented.
Yeah.
The young lady. I think the young lady is very talented, and I don't get her videos personally. That doesn't fucking matter because my daughters do.
Yeah,
there's
and it's not
millions.
I'm 43 years old. If I get it, maybe I'm fucking broken.
Yeah.
You know? But she sold out a theater that I could not sell out if you gave me a year to promote it. And her merch sales were more than I made that weekend for performing at the theater.
Yeah.
Like this, I mean,
Wow.
And you can't deny that these kids, some of these kids are going out, they're doing comedy clubs, they're doing $100 pit tickets, one show. They're walking away with 20 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand, one show. They do 15 minutes, 5 of which is a dance to music in a costume, like they wear a squirrel suit, and they do a dance that everyone's familiar with. They say 4 or 5 catchphrases, and then they do an hour and a half meet and greet where everyone gets a selfie with them.
Yeah.
And you can't hate on them. That's what they're doing.
You can't hate on them, but you can also look at the jobs, not like they took our jobs, but when you have big production companies that are now looking at following rather than talent, or how many people are checking on your Facebook rather than how many credits you have on your resume, it's kind of hard to take it seriously anymore. Like when you go to a network like NBC or CBS, it's funneled through all these different filters of these executives that have been doing it for X amount of years, and they know that like America wants to see it like this, or if it's a multicam, it should be like this. And now that is just so obsolete, but also the talent seems to be lost. There are so many YouTubers that I watch that do shows like that and go up and dance for 5 minutes and do that. And I was like, the only reason that they have this kind of following is because they jumped on it early. Because Vine came out and they were one of the first ones, or YouTube came out and they were one of the first ones.
Partly it is they jumped on it early, but we all had the opportunity to jump on it early.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's something to be said for, just aggregating fans and like, look, you could shit on Casey Neistat and say his vlog is a ego-driven fluff piece of what he believes he wants people to think his life is.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's good is because he posts it every fucking day, and he knows how to run a fucking Canon 5 or whatever.
And edit it.
Yeah.
DS.
Or you could say the guy's got fucking talent.
Yeah.
You could argue the other way and go, the guy's got talent because he's making a badass product that I've binge watched. Like, and he's got commitment and he's got a work ethic.
Yeah.
And he knows how to bust his ass. There's a lot you can go back and forth on. But it goes back to, I remember the first time I ever heard this phrase was in the Flintstones, was you can beat them or join them.
Yeah.
And it's like, now I look at it and I go, in December of this last year, I said, I was a little lost in what I wanted what was happening with me on television. And I just felt like I was a gun for hire sometimes without any ascertainable talents, but I felt like I had production talents and I wanted to portray them. I wanted to show people I could make something.
Yeah.
And so I started making a vlog just because I wanted to. And I did a vlog. I did maybe 30 of them, and they got really good. They started building numbers, and then I got bored. And I was like, okay, so what did I learn? How can I apply that? And then I thought, what's the next project I want to make? And I started focusing on my podcast. I built my podcast numbers by 50% just in that Casey Neistat program of hard work and consistency.
Yeah.
Just putting it out every Wednesday at the exact same time, having guests I'm really interested in, not phoning it in and being like, can you do it Tuesday? Let's just do it Tuesday. Like being like, fuck, this is who I want to talk to.
Yeah.
But now I say take a look at like Grace Helbig. Take a look at her and see what can you learn from her.
Yeah.
Like she said to me, she was like, I ran into her in Montreal. She's like, I'd love to have you on my podcast. And in my head, I was like, honey, I'll do your podcast, but I will be staring at everything in your fucking room, looking at how you do this. I want to see how you do your vlog. I want to see your lighting setup.
Yeah.
Like I want to learn. Like I don't give a shit. I'm 43 years old. I'm not fucking you. That would be creepy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to learn everything I can from you, and I do that with everyone I do something with. I kind of like Rogan. was the first person I just fucking learned everything from him. Like, how do you do a podcast? I was having that conversation about handheld audio recording devices.
Yeah.
You just learn, and the more you learn, the more you can apply. And then all of a sudden you get into a moment where you're in a meeting and you tell them an idea you want to do, and they're like, how would we approach that? And you have the answers.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're like, I don't need much. I need an audio. I need an audio system. I need a rig that can, I'm sure we can find a cameraman who can put in a fucking G7X and a fucking H6 into one thing so I have audio and I can shoot it all myself. Like, that's all you fucking need.
It's the learning curve, and that's kind of most of the thing that keeps people away from it is they don't know, they don't have anybody that they're learning from to figure out how to do it, and then when they learn how to do it, then they get the fear of like, oh, how do I get that camera? How do I pay for that? How do I like that? The fear of the unknown just stops people cold most of the time.
The hard part for me is that I work so closely with all those people. I know, like, my girlfriend does a lot of those, like, YouTube channels. Her and her sister produce a show called Betch on Go90 that is, like, a sketch show with a bunch of YouTubers, and my girlfriend's sister's boyfriend is, like, an exec at Awesomeness, and, like, it's just I'm around those people all the time, and I've done movies with, like, YouTuber, or what they call, influencers, what they call themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's what they...
You know what you've heard that term, right? No?
Yeah, they call
influencers. Oh, you gotta know that.
You're not, like, a stand-up, they're an influencer. Or they're not an actor, they're an influencer. So I've done, like, movies with these quote-unquote influencers, and it is very hard to look at them. And I know the times are changing, and, like, I should look at them and go, you're doing something that I didn't, and gaining a much bigger fan base than I ever have in a much shorter amount of time. But I do a movie with them, and I'm like, this can't be an everlasting thing for you. Because they don't take it seriously. They aren't like professional. Like, they will leave if they see fit, or if they don't like the wardrobe, they will complain until it's fixed,
Yeah.
and it's hard to see people and work with those people and think that this is how it's going to change forever. I think that their audience that are little kids right now are going to grow up and then see the exact same thing that everyone else sees, and maybe they're going to fall off the face of the earth.
The truth is, surfing online's great, but ultimately, I want to see Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Surfing online's fun, but
Yeah.
what's Tom Cruise's next movie? I'm gonna go see that.
Yeah.
Like,
The
surfing
cream
fun.
will rise.
Surfing online's fun, but ultimately, if J.J. Abrams puts out a new TV show, I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Surfing online's fun, but
Yeah.
you know, and that's what it comes down to. Surfing online is fun, but it causes. I believe it causes depression. I believe it causes. It imbibes addictive behaviors because it's just surfing. You don't watch the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. It shortens your attention span. Now when I watch, like if I start a Netflix series and it doesn't grab me in the first 15 minutes, it's not worth my time.
I checked out of this conversation 20 minutes ago.
Podcast is the only thing I'll listen to beginning to end.
Yeah, me too.
I love it.
listen to every podcast beginning to end. If I start a podcast, I listened to Race Wars yesterday with Kurt Metzger after all the beef.
Yeah.
I could have been 2 hours longer. I would have loved it.
Right.
He is the most interesting Facebook friend to have because he is always getting into stuff like this. Not anything like his recent turmoil.
Oh,
But he is a controversial dude.
he just does. He really. Someone wrote in a vlog. He gives zero consensual fucks.
Yeah.
He really doesn't give a fuck. And you know what? You can say what you want to say about him. My wife and I and Lynn Grusin. Oh, this is my wife right here.
There you go. She's calling. You want to put her on speaker for the show? Or should we pause it?
Hold on. How come I can't answer it?
This is where the Dudes of Future Past comes in.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doing a podcast.
This is live.
Yeah, you're on live.
Hi, Leanne.
Oh, hi. Are you with Kurt?
Yeah.
How are you?
Do you need me?
No, well, I mean, no. I'm at the laundromat. Some really scary guy just came in the laundromat, so I'm leaving.
Oh.
But I do have to come back and put our clothes in the dryer.
Oh, then we've done about an hour. Come pick me up and I'll go back with you.
But I can go. Sylvia's at our house. I can go get Sylvia. She'll come back with me.
Tell her
Yeah.
to come
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Tell her to grab one of those batons.
I didn't know you were podcasting. Sorry.
That's okay.
Leanne, real quick, do your kids like Liv and Maddie?
They don't watch with Maddie. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay. We just want to make sure. Bert wasn't sure. Sorry, Joey.
No, it's cool, man.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
They're into animated shit.
Okay. There we go. See,
Well,
I
we
I
go.
like animated shit.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, what
There's
was
no
this?
problem.
Okay. I'll call you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. What were we talking about before that?
I don't know. We're talking about
Kurt
YouTube
Metzger.
and Kurt Metzger.
Kurt
Yeah,
Metzger,
Kurt
yeah.
Metzger.
He doesn't give zero fucks.
Which is
But it's it's really crazy is he believes in what he fights for.
yeah.
And that's there's
Right.
We had me, my wife, Lynn and Kathy had a conversation about this whole lynch mob mentality. And I'll tell you what, if you want a guy like Kurt on your side, if the lynch mob comes after you,
Right.
if
Yeah.
you're falsely accused of something, you want a guy like Kurt to stand up for you.
Yeah.
And he will. He totally will. And on the opposite side, I don't know. I mean, I've been not assaulted, but like I've been fucked with before, and I know close to like being raped. I can't imagine what that's like. But you're when something happens to you, your brain's not all fucking there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how you come out and find yourself justice very well may be the social media these days. Like
Yeah.
you can't blame these young ladies for not wanting to stand up and go,
Yeah.
hey, I want everyone to know I was raped.
Right.
You can't blame them
Yeah.
if that truly happened. And I don't know because the jury's out and no one's really gone.
Yeah.
Like it's all been behind closed doors. But if you were sexually assaulted, I wouldn't want, like if I said to my friends, I said if Stephen Fromkin fucked me in the ass
Yeah.
one night, got me drunk, gave me a roofie, and fucked me in the ass, I would not tell a soul.
No.
I definitely wouldn't come out
Yeah.
and tell everyone at Colfax.
No,
No.
It's not the kind of thing that you want to make a public announcement about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then everyone's like, oh my God. Imagine in our community, everyone's like, hey, Bert Kreischer got fucked in the ass by Stephen Fromkin. And then all of a sudden, this one assault takes on a brand new life of becoming your stamp
identity.
of
Your identity.
Especially like, I mean, not talking about like, but Kurt Metzger stood up for this and stood for something he believes in. And now when people talk about Kurt for the next month or two, they're going to talk about this. And if you got fucked in the ass and everybody knew it, for the next God knows how long, you would be known, instead of for all your credentials and all your stand-up, you'd be known as the guy that just got fucked in the ass.
But
Do we need to establish context for any listeners out there who don't know what's going on with Kurt Metzger right now?
He said, so for those of you who don't know, it's a little complicated because I'm talking in terms that are not absolute.
Yeah.
And there's no proof of anything.
Right.
And I think what Kurt's biggest problem of this whole thing was innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
Which I think
And
America,
who got accused? It wasn't Kurt who got accused.
No.
So two young ladies, from what I understand, at different times, or maybe at the same time, or maybe corroborated, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
They reached out to the UCB in New York and said one guy who was running a show and was like the guy running the open mic had sexually assaulted them.
Right.
I think straight up raped. I mean,
That's
like
what
drug
really-
them
Yeah.
and rape them.
And then they
But
said they did an
Cosby
internal
style.
investigation.
He went Cosby on him.
And then UCB did an internal investigation and banned this guy from the club.
Yeah.
A third party, neither of
But
these,
he's not been charged by the police or arrested.
not been charged by police, not been arrested. UCB just said, you're banned from the club. They informed him, and then a third party released UCB's findings online.
Well,
and
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's what it fucking took off. And so it might have been one of these two young ladies. It might have been someone at UCB. It might be a third party, just someone angry and wanting more justice who had been sexually assaulted in their past and saying this isn't fair. This guy then started getting banned from all the clubs. Kurt saw this, and I'm speaking for Kurt, and I should not, but I think he saw an injustice of if something happened, you should take that to the police.
Right.
Don't, because Kurt's point was very accurate. They go, how does this affect you? He's like, well, I could be next.
Yeah.
Someone could just very easily not like my act
And that's
go to a club and go, he raped me, and then the club just say he's banned,
Yeah.
and then the word gets out that Kurt Metzger's a rapist, and he stops working and his life's over.
Yeah, that's-
based off of speculation, based off of lies, based off of rumors. That was what Kurt was standing up for. Now I think, in all honesty, Kurt maybe took it to the mat too hard. His Facebook posts were fairly aggressive. He will admit that now, but at the time, his ego was in front of him, and he knew he was right, which he is right.
Yeah.
You can't go out.
Well, we're a very delicate society because everybody they're quick to do everything, like get snapped everything. We get this whole thing with Ryan Lochte. Like Ryan Lochte says he gets arrested gets held up in Rio. There's all this other backstory about how, the facilities aren't great in Rio. All the other shit's going down in Brazil. There's unrest. So it fits in with the profile. All everybody's saying, wow, now look how bad the Olympics are in Brazil. They're even like holding up the athletes. So then, boom, that comes out. And then, it turns out, guess what?
Yeah.
The news that they do an investigation. Oh no, they weren't held up at gunpoint, and turns out Ryan Lochte lied. So that's exactly the point where we have to get to. You can't just go, this guy raped somebody, and then he gets banned. Now he's that's a black mark on him forever. And if it just comes out, these two girls go, we just lied. There's nothing stopping them.
It's crucial to the rest of their life. That's what's so hard about it. Is it's so.
Well, it's crucial to the rest of your life. I don't know. This is just my 2 cents. I'm a fucking moron, but I don't know, man. Two chicks. It's just hard to think that women would corroborate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as a guy, I really don't want. I would hate if someone said, "Hey, Bert raped me," and then everyone just said, "Well, she said it, so it's true."
Yeah.
There is.
Why would she say it, Bert?
Yeah. Why would she say it, Bert? You were on the road with her. Why would she ever say that?
Yeah.
All it takes
She's never said it before, but she said it with you, and then you have no defense.
Yeah.
And that's what Kurt was standing up for. And it really stinks that a lot of female comics that I respect and love, just all of a sudden it's like party lines were drawn in the sand, and they start just trying to destroy Kurt, and then it's like feminism is more important than justice or the truth. Because I don't know, I don't have a side in this fight at all. But I tell you what, man, if I'm walking around the streets and I got all this robbery around and I end up killing a fucking kid and I kill the wrong kid and I go to jail,
right.
and I want Kurt Metzger fucking writing a blog about me, and going, here's it on paper. It's so easy to see something online and have your 2 cents and just go whatever,
right.
and I'm right and I'm going to stand by righteousness instead of what if it was me?
Yeah, not to mention that most people read the headline, and then that is what they know.
They get the clickbait, and then they're done.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that, unfortunately, in this society now, like the way everything's out on the internet, everything seems so black or white. There's no gray anymore. It's like you're Trump or Hillary. You're not, the Green Party doesn't get any
Yeah, Jill
play.
Stein's not getting shit.
Or me, who's just not voting because everyone's fucking pointless.
Right? I mean, it's so all that, but that's why it is. Black Lives Matter or Police Lives Matter. You can't do both. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, that's how everything is.
I heard a Black Lives Matter person fucking lose their shit that white people were talking about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, man. That fucking whole movement, cannibalizing itself.
Yeah.
Like, it's so silly. It's such a great fucking movement.
Yeah.
And they have morons running it.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, is that you see,
not morons running it. Let me rephrase that. They have morons commandeering it.
Yeah.
Like taking over their own.
Or being too hostile, or going too far in the other direction and causing a bigger rift, rather than talking about what actually happened and what can actually be fixed.
Look, I mean, obviously there's an alarming rate with which black guys are dying these days by cops. That's it's undeniable.
Yeah.
It's definitely happening. But to go, I don't know, you know what? Maybe Black Lives Matter is doing everything perfect, and whatever media junket I get put on my Facebook shows them in the worst light possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe my friends that I grew up with are racist, and all they do is pick out the bullshit. Because I'm getting my news from fucking Facebook.
That's the hard part, because it's bias. I mean, the news that you're getting from Facebook are the articles that are chosen independently and personally by the people on your Facebook. So if they see an article that doesn't,
maybe my friends growing up are just racist.
Maybe
that's it. I mean, they still live in Florida,
right?
Yeah. There was a lot of pro George Zimmerman stuff when that was going on my Facebook.
Of course.
The funny thing is that I think that's kind of a communal realization with Facebook. It's like everybody's like, people from my past are racist bigots.
Yeah.
Because that is like, I'm getting that too, and I'm like in kind of the opposite way.
Oh, imagine what it was like. I mean, I grew up when racism was okay.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When I was a kid, the N-word got thrown around at baseball games when we played black teams.
Jesus Christ.
We talked about Joey and I talked about this. Like when I was a kid, like we were talking about that Archie Bunker. Like
you'd sit on a train car and throw rocks at black people.
Like, I don't want the fag to come over here. I'm not afraid of fags, but and I'm like, you could say that on TV.
Oh, yeah. There's
no network television that would allow you to script fag in a way that, and not you could say it like a cop said, like, I was looking through the report and the offensive criminal said fag to the man. That would be maybe, but you can't just throw it around like Archie Bunker did it.
Yeah.
And you couldn't, like when I was a kid, it used to be just sort of like, man, don't be a fag, and it was like, okay, and then there was that movement, but just what we should be doing is evolving. But what unfortunately happens with Facebook and all these other things, you don't just read the newspaper or a magazine or whatever, a book, and then form your own opinion about it. Now you are actually gotten things that are already into your own opinion culled together as your resource.
Yeah.
Dude, so you're not changing. You're not.
I grew up not thinking that racism was a thing anymore at all. I totally did not think. I thought it was done with, over with, something of the past. Until I grew up and started to kind of take a more, I guess, adult outlook on life, or just notice everything around me. But it is like, because I went to high school in San Francisco, near San Francisco on the East Bay, and there was this weird thing that every time I tell the story, people are like surprised about it more and more. But when I was in high school, kids would come out as gay, and then no matter where they were in like the social class of high school, they would be the most popular, because they had the confidence to come out and tell people they were gay. So
What
I had
happened
kids.
for you, Bert, right? You had the surprised look on your face.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
So there were, wait, dude, it's not even fucking done. There were kids in my high school that were not gay, but would come out as bisexual or pants or whatever word was cool at the time, and then would be, so these kids were lying about being gay to up their high school status. And that was just kind of what I was dealing with. So I was in high school thinking, is it weird that I'm not bisexual? Like, why is everyone bisexual and I just don't find an attraction to weens? Like, I don't get it. I didn't understand it as a kid, and that was my inner turmoil.
It was the opposite for me.
Oh, a complete
Gay
polar
kids
opposite.
would pretend to be straight so they could be cool.
Yeah.
Right.
That
yeah.
seems fairly normal. Like,
Yeah.
I can't. There was.
Well, let's face it. We all won the white guy lottery. Right.
Yeah.
Dude, white privilege is fucking real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And for
I
anyone
mean,
who says white privilege isn't real, they're out of their fucking mind. They don't know how easy it is.
And
Yeah, it's
think-
easy for us all to talk about this sitting all being like white dudes
Right.
in a nice.
And I get it. I
house.
watch these things, and I watch, like we were talking about the Black Lives Matter. There was a bunch of people in the street, and this guy was there, of course, from Fox News. There was a guy from Fox News trying to ask these Black Lives Matter people, protesters, something, and they were just like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck! The media's a problem
Renounce
too.
your white
Get out of here!"
privilege.
Yeah, and they were
Yeah.
like, and you know what? And I can see that from my point of view. Like I get it. I am grown up in this world where I don't sit there and take advantage of it going, I'm white, I'll take this thing. You
Yeah.
just go through your life and you don't realize that, oh, I probably got that job over that guy maybe because the guy hiring could have been racist. I worked for a Jordanian guy in Boston. He ran a coffee shop, and he had no problems telling me, I don't want girls running the register. You run the register. You're only one in charge to lock up because I don't like the African-American guy locking up. Like stuff like that. And like he would just say it straight out. So that kind of went by my head, and I remember feeling like bad. I'm like, that's an asshole thing to do. Because I had more work to do because I
Yeah.
didn't trust anybody else.
Yeah, that's an asshole thing. But I am assistant
Jesus
manager.
Christ.
But you know what I mean. But you ignore it. You don't ignore it. You're just not aware of it. And
Yeah.
I'm more cognizant of it now, and you see it, and you go like, fuck.
Especially in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like you see, there was that, I can't remember what movie it was, but they released their casting character description and log lines
Right.
and what they wanted. And like that, I can't remember what movie that was for. But it was just like, light-skinned black girls that are pretty with like green eye. And it was just
Yeah.
the way it was describing it was disgusting.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what drives me nuts is when they say, "How dare Christian Bale play Moses?" Or
Right,
like,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
why
yeah.
wouldn't you hire an all ethnic cat? Like,
Yeah.
how are you gonna have Scarlett Johansson play this
Asian
girl. Yeah.
in this thing? And then I want to go, okay, cool, but promise you'll buy tickets when we cast a group of unknown Asians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Promise you'll buy tickets because I won't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a ticket.
The hard-
and I'm not racist. I'm just telling you pretty straight off the bat. I'm watching fucking Marco Polo right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's great that they cast a bunch. They cast it the way they should. But in your head, you're like, if that's a major motion picture, what's going to draw people's asses to seats? Keanu Reeves,
Yeah.
who may not be full-blooded of what you need,
Right.
or I hate to say it, but it's fucking just dictates
Yeah.
what look, man, the dollar is not racist. The
No.
dollar's just honest.
Yeah.
And you spend your dollar where you just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the fucking truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hard part with that, Scarlett Johansson, I feel like I start every sentence with the hard part
No.
in this podcast.
What
But
was
this
what
one.
was the Scarlett Johansson movie she was put in?
it's Ghost of the Shell or Ghost in the Shell or something like that. It's based off a popular anime. I'm not familiar with it. But the
Oh, I
crazy
know
thing
it,
is that after they got backlash when they released that first picture of Scarlett Johansson, the studio's response was, we're going to use CGI to make her more Asian-y looking.
Right.
Which is not the way to
Smart.
go. Yeah,
what
stick to
everybody
your
wants.
guns, studios. Don't be like, oh, we'll close her eyes up a little bit.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, guys.
Yeah.
There's an
Yeah.
app for this now.
Yeah, we'll put a
Yeah.
CGI math book in her backpack.
It's like the Snapchat filter that you put on your face. So we could put a bandana on your head and you have ping
Yeah.
pong balls coming out of your mouth.
Don't worry, we're
Just put an
face
Asian
swapping
thing.
her with Lucy Liu.
There's the mom on Fresh Off the Boat did a really good interview or wrote an article or something about it, about how Matt Damon is cast in that Great Wall movie, and he's like a white guy.
Constance? Is it Constance?
Is that what it's
Wu?
called?
Yeah. I
Oh,
think it's
Constance Wu. Yeah,
Wu.
that's her
That's
name.
it.
Yeah. But then you look at the log line for that movie that Matt Damon is playing, and he's not playing a Chinese guy. He's playing like another worldly guy in China during the Great Wall, and there are also monsters trying to break through
It's
the
a
Great Wall,
fantasy.
and that's why they made the Great Wall. So I'm like, why is your rift with a white dude playing an Asian dude, and not the fact that they made the Huns monsters and dragons and stuff? Like,
Right,
it's
yeah.
obviously not based in reality.
Yeah.
So what? I don't know.
I have a hard time with I have a hard time when people go, Yeah, you should never have cast. What's the guy who played Gandhi?
Oh,
Ben
Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley is Gandhi.
Sir Ben Kingsley.
Yeah, you should have never. You should have cast an Indian guy. Sure.
Yeah.
So many people would have watched that.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying, like,
People barely watch it with Ben Kingsley, for Christ's
yeah,
sakes.
like,
Yeah.
but, like you're talking about someone's investing millions of dollars in something. They're gonna take the sure shot. I
Yeah.
want Tom Cruise to play The Last Samurai. I know that one's about a white guy, but like,
Yeah.
I want, because if it's my fucking money,
Yeah.
dude, I think you just get
Well,
very
as an
real.
investor, yeah.
Yeah.
And I get that. That's where I get understanding about me. I get worried sometimes, like, well, man, how come I didn't book this job or whatever? And it's coming down to, if it goes in a room, and I understand it sucks, but if I go in a room and I give a fantastic performance, and the guy next to me gives a fantastic performance, and they're like, all right, who do we book for this? They're both perfect. They both look the part. They both can act their ass off. All right, Kurt's got 5,000 Instagram followers. This guy has got 400,000. Guess what? We're going to cast that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when it comes down to all even. That's what it's going to come down to. But I know what people. But at the same time, I could see somebody's concern when you look at a film like whatever it was, Gods, and whatever that Christian Bale movie. That
Gods
was
and
Yeah.
something.
Gods in Egypt. Or I don't know what the hell it was, but it was like they had all the like the pharaohs and everybody. Like Sigourney Weaver was. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There was a lot. There was definitely some room where you could have. Sure, Christian Bale could be Moses.
You don't want to start plugging in Asians when you don't have any Asians.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like Sigourney Weaver, Christian Bale, Jet Li.
Yeah.
You're like
Right?
oh, just get Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and also people are complaining about Christian Bale being a white dude playing Moses while they have a picture of blue-eye, white-skinned Jesus on their wall.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's not fair.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk about that though.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't. You can't make me question all my religion, everything I believed in. All my
I
life.
saw this horrible post of like a picture of like, hey, if Jesus existed, this is what he probably looked like, and it was just a picture of just like a Middle Eastern looking
It
dude.
looked like Allen
And-
Iverson.
yeah, exactly. Looked like, but those Yahoo comments
Yeah.
made me lose faith in all of humanity. Just
Oh,
those people
God.
like Jesus didn't look like that. That looks like a a turban wearing. Oh, it's terrible, man.
God.
What they should do is all those people that get up in arms about Scarlett Johansson and all these castings, you just real quick go, hey man, just out of curiosity, did you see Think Like a Man too? And they're
Yeah.
like, no. And you're like, why not? Because it was an all black
Yeah.
cast, and you just
Yeah.
assumed it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
Just like that one kid figured I wasn't for women's rights.
Yeah.
Did you
all
see
comes back to that.
Haunted House 7 with the Wayans brothers?
Yeah. Have you been watching Sword of Destiny on Netflix with all those Asian actors?
What sort of Destiny?
It's like a martial arts show
Oh,
with a
no.
bunch of like Asian actors.
I got a pee too. Should we just wrap it up?
All right, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. We're all gonna
Any
be
more
ready.
questions about being young and old?
How's
that's not wrapping it up.
yeah?
It's gonna go
How's
on
your
forever.
bowels? How are they doing?
Not
could-
good, man.
Yeah,
We
see,
could
mine are
take a
fucking
break
fine.
real quick.
No, I gotta go.
I got things I gotta do, too.
I think Leanne's getting sexually assaulted at a fucking
Yeah,
laundromat.
we
Yeah,
may
that's-
want to make sure Leanne's
That's funny that she was
okay.
like, "There's a scary guy walking in, so I'm
She wrote,
leaving."
never mind. Jeff, the laundromat employee, just showed up. He's great. I'm cool now. He'll run off the druggy guy eating a 7-Eleven pizza and drinking a Monster Energy drink.
They should. A 7-Eleven pizza should be a trap. Anybody that buys a 7-Eleven pizza should immediately be arrested.
Yeah, I like that. Anyone who buys the new
the nacho filled or the Dorito filled.
Yeah.
no, they have blunt splicers.
Oh God, yeah.
They do.
yeah, like there's a lot. Yeah.
It's gonna make it much easier. I've
By the
cut
way,
my-
back in the day, they used to do the exact same thing, but with 40s. Anyone who buys a 40 should be arrested. Like
Yeah.
we're just a new age of profiling. Yeah.
yeah.
Isla walked by a bunch of I think Persians sitting outside. I think there's some of them Uber drivers. They're sitting in the parking lot, and I go, and this is how racially insensitive my daughter is. I walk by, and they're all talking in Persian to each other very adamantly, like very passionately. And I go, what do you think they're saying, Isla? And she goes, I don't know. I don't speak Egyptian. I went, great, Isla, great.
Me and my girlfriend we just had dinner at like this beautiful place called Castaway up in the Burbank Hills.
Yeah, I've
And
been there. It's
was,
great.
Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful. And there's like we were sitting on the edge, and there was this party of maybe like 20, I guess Greek people.
Yeah.
And that's just a shot in the dark. But it was literally like we were fucking sitting at the end of the trilogy for My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It was like they were all coming over and like standing right beside our table and taking pictures with their flashlights. And I was like, This is why that racist caricature of Greek people in that movie is 100%
Spraying
correct.
Windex on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It all comes from some truth. None of that stuff is just made up completely, but it does get watered down.
But also, those people could have been like Persians or something. That's just my white ass going, these loud Greeks.
So we got to have you guys on my podcast. We'll do a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm around next week, so we can do it next week or the week after
cool,
that.
yeah.
We'll have you guys on my podcast. We'll do a swapcast. We'll release both of them at the same time and aggregate fans over here because
Dope.
I think you guys are great.
Oh, thank you,
I
man.
literally,
You
I
have a
didn't
good
think I
time?
was gonna like him at first, but
Yeah.
he fucking grows.
He was
on
worried
me.
about that, too.
He's got a really funny. You remind me a lot of Sam Roberts from Opie and Anthony, and a lot of my buddy Blair Mendez because you're very open and I love guys who like. They'll say something and then giggle then giggle when you say something. It's really
Thanks, man.
I don't know anybody like
you're
that.
good.
Yeah.
You're good for a pod. You really are good on a podcast.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you,
I
man.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
I've
we
been a
thank
big
you
fan
for
of
doing
yours
this.
since I was a kid. You're one of my inspirations.
Since I was a fucking kid.
Isn't
Years
that
ago.
all-
right?
Here he
that's-
goes with his
this is
interview
it.
skills.
Yeah, right? When I was a teeny tot, I was watching
I used
you
to
be
watch
a grown man.
I used to watch you with Dane Cook, and he blew up. What happened, Bert?
Oh.
Everyone
Oh.
around you is just doing so
That'll
well.
be next week. That'll be next week on the Swapcast because I literally am in swimming. My teeth are swimming right now. So
Okay.
we have to close it down. But I love Bert
Yeah.
Kreischer
Awesome.
for
Thank you,
being here.
guys.
Joey Bragg, I'm Kurt Long. Thank
Kurt.
you so much for listening.
Dudes of
Joey?
Future Past podcast. Thank you guys for listening to our Swapcast episode.
Hey, Bert Kreischer, what's your social media?
Bert, go to bertbertbert.com. You can find it all there.
All right. At Joey Bragg, at Kurt Long.
And the new Dudes of Future Past
Website.
.com. Is it Dudes of Future Past podcast.com?
No, it's just dudesoffuturepast.com. You
Yeah.
can get all our links there to shows and all that stuff. So hit us up, message us, talk to us. Thanks so much for listening. We'll talk to you in a bit.
Bye.